So this Friday, the Arizona Game and Fish Commission released 2 more proposed rule changes to the trail camera ban in the state of Arizona. If you haven't been following the situation, let me give you sort of a synopsis of what happened. In December, the commissioners voted 5-0 to ban trail cameras. Well, that just caused a furor, right? You had people on the left, people on the right. Yes, ban trail cameras. People on the left, right. No. We have to have trail cameras. There's no reason why you shouldn't be banning trail cameras. The whole idea of fair chase and ethics and wildlife management and human-wildlife conflict and human-to-human conflict all came to a head, essentially, across multiple forums, you name it. We had a podcast with the commissioners, we did a talking head about it, and now we are a couple of months post that period. So what's happened? So that proposed rule of banning in totality trail cameras, and when I say in totality, it was for the take of wildlife only, okay? It wasn't for grandpa who likes to look at wildlife, or for me to take my kids, if I lived in Arizona, to go look at wildlife to see what was happening. It was all tied to take. And so they proposed a ban. They put it out for public comment, Jan 1 to Feb 1. They received over 2,700 comments. I think it was 2,742 comments. There was almost an even split. 1,200 opposed to the trail camera ban, 800 in favor of the ban, and then 400 in favor of the ban, but with some modifications. So it was about 1,200 and 1,200 on each side. As you can see, a very divided issue. Because of the public comment that they have received, they've put forward 2 more proposed pieces of language to the rulemaking change. Now, the original rulemaking language is still there. What this is doing is providing the commissioners options. That first option, and now these 2 additional options. That is banning trail cameras within a 1/4 mile of all water sources, and then for the take of wildlife again, and then allowing the cameras to be used for the take of wildlife between, I think it's February 1 and June 31st of every year. So what's the next steps? Again, these 2 things now are out for public comment, and the commission is not going to vote on this rule as previously thought in the March commission meeting. It is being pushed to the June commission meeting, and at the June commission meeting, the commissioners will make a decision. So you're saying, yeah, Robbie, I know all that. Okay, but here's what I don't think you are thinking about. There was this huge uproar about the commissioners already making up their minds, that the commissioners are all political, that the commissioners aren't thinking. No, the commissioners are thinking. The commissioners are thinking for the future generations of my kids and my grandkids to be able to take wildlife in the state of Arizona. And the commissioners have listened. The commissioners want to hear from you, the public. That's why they opened it up for public comment. This whole sentiment that, they're just doing it because they have to. Yeah, okay, it's part of the legal process. But these 2 new proposed pieces of language are as a result of your public comment. Otherwise, they would have put it out to start with. If the commissioners were hiding things, why would they on Friday have bothered to outline all of the concerns and sort of group thematically the concerns from the public? And they weighed them all out. And that's why you see the 2 proposed rulemaking pieces of language. So before the hunting fraternity decides to get up on a pedestal again and start bashing the commissioners that are in charge of looking after the wildlife of Arizona, just pause and think for a second and say, are they thinking about helping or hurting hunting for the long term in the state of Arizona? Now, with this specific rule, I think they are. I think they're looking after the long-term success and sustainability of wildlife. They're trying to mitigate as best as they possibly can human-to-human conflict, because we all know that's probably the issue here. It's not the management of wildlife, it's the management of people tied to the use of trail cameras. I know we as hunters have very divergent views in our community, as you saw from the comments, for and against trail camera bans. But I want you to think, before you get up on your soapbox and your pedestal and point fingers and throw rotten tomatoes at the people that are the decision makers, just pause to think at what they are trying to do. What are they looking towards the future to have for your kids and your grandkids one day? And what kind of decision would you have made if you had that in the sort of the lens that you were looking at things through. It certainly makes you think. If you want your voice heard to these two new pieces of language, you have until April 11th to send your public comments into the Commission. You can email the commissioners yourselves. There's all the information on the Arizona Game and Fish website. At the end of the day, I don't think you could have asked for a more transparent process. And we'll see what happens in June to what they decide they want to do moving forward. I think these two new pieces of language are very middle ground and take into account both sides of the gradient in terms of their thoughts and concerns around trail cameras. Appreciate you listening. Appreciate you thinking.